I've never eaten on camera. I think this is the part where I go like, oh my god. Yeah, that's the cornbread bibingka. Chewy and fluffy at the same time. It's so bomb. Hi, I'm Kym from San Will's Bakeshop, and today we are making cornbread bibingka. Cornbread bibingka is a hybrid of cornbread and bibingka, which is a baked Filipino rice cake. I decided to make this because I really love cornbread and I really love bibingka, so I was just like, maybe we'll merge both. So this cornbread bibingka uses more sugar than the normal bibingka, and this recipe is totally vegan. We are using plain rice flour and glutinous rice flour. Glutinous rice flour is the thing that actually makes it more chewy. And then we got medium grind cornmeal, we got canola oil, we got salt, we got baking powder, we got organic cane sugar, and we got oroidi coconut milk. So what we're going to do is first start sifting the rice flour. So this has the plain rice flour and glutinous rice flour. So I'm just gonna sift it into this big bowl. And that's okay if some of it doesn't make the strainer. We're not looking for perfection. This is a really foolproof recipe. So once that's done, I'm going to add the cornmeal. Cornmeal does not need to be sifted. And then I'm gonna take my baking powder, and then I'm going to also sift that through. And then salt. That doesn't need to be sifted either. And now we're going to give it a quick mix, just so all of it is incorporated and mixed in. What I want to get a head start on is making the egg. So we're using a Bob's Red Mill egg. It's a mixture of different flours that make it starchy. So to make the egg, you're basically going to make it 3 times the amount of water inside of it. So we're using 40 grams of Bob's Red Mill and then 165 grams of water. Right now, it won't be thick yet, so we're gonna come back to this from time to time as we're going along in this process. And the reason why we use Bob's Red Mill egg for this recipe, because it gives it more of a gelatinous texture to the cornbread, and I like my cornbread to be a little bit mochi-like. So this added with the glutinous rice flour, it adds for a more chewy, moist cornbread bibingka. All right, let's set this aside. We're gonna come back to it every now and then as we go along in this process. I'm gonna actually take this bowl that I used. I'm going to add my canola oil and my sugar. We're going to mix the fat and the sugar together. I've tried this with a few oils. Coconut oil won't work for this. Another oil that will work for this is bran rice flour or extra virgin olive oil. It's going to give that flavor though. But I kind of like that flavor too. All right, so that's basically mixed in. Now we're gonna add the coconut milk, the oroidi coconut milk. It's so creamy. All right, that's incorporated. And now I'm gonna go back to my Bob's Red Mill. You can see it thickening up just a little bit more. We want it thicker. Cornbread bibingka isn't a very traditional bibingka. There's several various types of bibingkas depending on what province you go to in the Philippines. Now I'm going to come back and mix this. I'm creating the most popular bibingka in the Philippines, but there are other bibingkas depending on the province that use cassava. There's some that have an egg in it or salted egg on top. There's some that use glutinous rice, actual glutinous rice, not just flour. So I'm just using the one I grew up eating, which is the most common one that you could find in the Philippines and over here too. For the egg consistency, I want it to be thick, but it's not there yet. When it's ready, it basically comes out as like one lump. It's okay. We just need to give it like 3 more minutes, I believe. And the reason why we sifted the flour is because the flour and the baking powder usually gets clumpy. So we want it to be fine when we mix it in. So we don't get clumps when we're mixing the liquids in, because you don't want clumps in your bibingka. Oh, see, it's getting there. So now you can see it's getting there. Maybe 1 more minute.
Soup.
Oh, hell yeah. And then when we add this to the oil, sugar, and coconut mixture, you could see the texture of the liquid become more gelatinous. All right, this is basically ready. So you could see that it got really thick. And now we're ready to put it in the liquid mixture. Put that aside. Okay, so now we have the liquid set, and now we're just going to add it to our dry mixture. Some people like to create a well. This is such a small batch that it's not necessary. So now we have everything in here. So you're just going to whisk. All right. So you should have a very smooth liquidy batter. It's going to be thinner than cake batter that uses like all-purpose flour. So now we're ready to put into the muffin molds. First, we have to prepare the banana leaves. So we're gonna wash our banana leaves before we use it for the bibingkas. I already have a pot of boiling hot water. I'm just going to dump them in this for 5 minutes. Once it's in here for 5 minutes, I'm going to transfer it to these towels, and then I'm just going to dry it off. And then we'll cut it for the bibingka molds. All right, so we let it sit for 5 minutes. Now I'm going to take it out and then just place them along my towel. We're gonna make about 24 bibingkas, so I really only need 6. We have a little bit more extra, but that's okay because it might go over 24. Now I'm gonna take another towel and just clean it off. Why do we clean banana leaves? Because they're dirty. That's the simple answer. It's not like parchment paper where you could just take it out the box. This came from nature, and nature has debris and dirt and stuff. And then what we are going to do is we're going to run all of these through an open flame so it could be more malleable and pliable so we could shape them into the molds. Now we're going to put this through the flame. So basically we're just going to go like this and like this with our bare hands. And don't use tongs because that's not the way our ancestors taught us. Yeah, so we're ready now. So now that we have the banana leaves cut up, we just cut it in half. They were circles before. Now we're going to put in the muffin mold. So basically you want to do kind of like a coffee filter action. So you're going to put it down here and then just press it down. And then same thing with all of them. We're just going to repeat those steps. So you're kind of twisting it inside, creating like a coffee filter, but it's not narrow at the bottom, obviously. And then also we oiled these muffin tins. All right, so now we're going to take the bibingka batter that we just made, the cornbread bibingka batter that we made, and we're going to scoop them into the molds. They should be 3/4 of the way full. The banana leaves work as parchment paper. Once it's baked off, it gives it a slight aroma of banana leaf, and you could taste it. So now we're gonna give this a gentle tap to release the air bubbles before putting it into the oven. And we're setting the oven at 325 degrees. It normally bakes at 350 degrees, but these ovens, they run a little bit hotter. So we're gonna adjust the temperature. Little tap. All right, so now we're gonna leave it in for 40 minutes. We're gonna turn it halfway through just so all the tops could be evened out. Our cornbread bibingkas are almost done. So right now we're gonna take it out the oven. We're gonna lightly brush it with butter and we're gonna sprinkle it with sugar. And then we're gonna pop it in for 2 to 5 more minutes. Voila. All right. Now we're gonna lightly brush. Set that aside. Sprinkle. And the sugar with the butter just hardens the top a little bit more. So you get a crunch when you bite into it. All right. Now we're gonna pop it in the oven again. All right. Now we wait 2 to 5 minutes. So our cornbread bibingkas are done, so we're gonna take it out the oven. Okay, so we're gonna let this cool for like 10 minutes and then we're gonna take it out of the molds and we're gonna try them. So our cornbread bibingka is now finished and cooled off, so I guess we'll just try it. All right, so what I do is I peel off the banana leaf, and you could see the banana leaf aroma got onto the bibingka, so we'll actually be able to taste the banana leaves. So this is our crumb shot. You're getting that mochi taste with cornbread. You're also going to get a bibingka taste, which tastes like a light, airy rice flour. The cornbread, since we use medium grind cornmeal, it's going to be more gritty. And then when we finish it off with the butter and the sugar, it makes the first bite more crunchy. And then the center is so soft and mochi-like. It's going to be like a hybrid rice cake and a hybrid of a mochi. So it's going to be chewy and fluffy at the same time. It's so bomb.